Good morning, class. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Great. All right. We're going to continue with our chapter 2. And we're going to talk about measures of central tendency today. All right. So just a little table of contents. 3 things that we're going to cover today: mode, median, and the mean. And then finally, we have an exit study. So before we get started, I want you to calculate your height in both inches and centimeters. Remember that there are 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. So go ahead and write that in your structured notes guide. And when you get done with that, type your values into our Inspire data set. Great, thank you very much. So now we have our data set, and we're going to come back to this, and we can use this to help figure out some of the other things that we said we were going to talk about today. What were they again? Mean, median, and mode? Okay, you've probably heard of these before. Averages, the middle number, or the one that occurs most often. Has everyone kind of heard of these before? Okay, great. Up next we have the median. Can anybody guess median? What does that kind of sound like? Or where else is the word used?
Like when you're driving, and it's in the middle, but like in the highway?
Exactly, middle. Median, middle. We're looking for the middle number here. As it says here, the definition, the value that lies in the middle of the data set when the data set is ordered. It measures the center of an ordered data set by dividing it into 2 equal parts. Generally, you think like a road, both sides of the lane are about the same size, right? Now, these 2 points right here are important. If the data set has an odd number of entries, it's always going to be the middle data entry. But if it has an even number of entries, we need to take the average of the 2 middle ones. So in this case, we're going to add them together and divide by 2. Is everybody okay there? Give me a thumbs up if you're good. All right, great. And then when we're done writing, we can move forward. Breaking it up into our steps again, we want to add all the data entries, all of the data entries in the data set. Our sigma notation, the sum of all x values. And then we need to divide it by the number of entries in the data set, which is n. So remember, you want to watch your addition. Look out for signs. If you have a positive or negative number, then you always want to be sure to count the number of entries in the data set carefully, okay? Everyone good so far? We can move on? All right, good. So now, for example, we have the same 3 data sets again. We're adding all the data entries. We do this first one, we have 23. There's 8 entries in the data set, so we take 23 divided by 8, and our mean is 2.875. The same with these other 2. We're going to add all of our data entries, divide by the number of data entries, and then we have our mean. Does everyone understand? Are you ready to try some on your own? All right. Okay, so like I said, when you're all done with this, when you've got your calculations figured out, I'll take volunteers to come up to the board and write your answers, and then when everybody's done, I would like you all to, or I would like whoever wrote on the board to explain how they got their answer. Kayla, go ahead and explain to us how you got these answers.
For the median, it was an even number of entries, so you had to take 35 plus 37 divided by 2 and you get 36.
Okay.
For the mode, it was 50 because those numbers were written twice where everyone else was 1.
Okay.
And for the mean, when you added it together, you got a total of 276.25. And you had to divide it by 8 because that's how many number of entries there were. And you got a total of 34.5.
Great. Did everyone understand that? Do you need anything further explained? want you to work in your groups that we have here. And what we have for our next one here. Okay, we want to take a look at our formula for our sigma notation divided by n. And together, I want you to explain this formula in your own words. And then, work together to come up with the best answer that we have possible. And then when your group is ready, put your pencils down, raise your hands, and we'll go from there, okay? All of your definitions that you came up with are absolutely great. We all have correct answers, so I just wanted to give you another way, or another chance to take a look at our formula for mean and kind of get it into your own words, make it easier for you to memorize. Now that we've done all of this stuff and all of this heavy math and adding and subtracting and dividing, we fortunately have programs that will do it for us. So, what I would like to do is take a look at one of our programs, Inspire Data. We put this data set in here at the beginning of the lesson. So now let's take a look at it. And just by looking at this, we have a whole bunch of numbers. So now, normally if we wanted to get the mean of, say, our height in inches, what would we have to do?
Add them all up together and divide by how many there are.
Divided by how many there are, great. Alright, and then now say the median. What are we going to do there? Go ahead.
Put them in order and find the one that's in the middle.
That. Okay, and what about the mode? Is there a mode in this case? We can, just by looking at the first one here, or just by looking at the numbers, is there a mode? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, what is our mode?
64.
64 inches, great. Now we can go ahead and take a look at this in a different way. It's going to make it a whole lot easier and faster for us to find these things out. So now, right here, we can go down to this compute button right at the bottom. If we want to compute the mean of our height in inches compared to our NBA basketball players that we also have in the beginning, it adds all of our heights up, divides it by the total number of entries, and our mean is 71.7. Now granted, we can do this longhand ourselves and add all of them up and divide, but this has already done it for us. So it's a great tool to use once you've already mastered the skills that are necessary to find the mean the longhand way. It's just another great resource that you can use to check your work. If we take a look at a pie chart, we can also easily tell. It splits it up into our data values. We can also easily tell there's 3 data values that lie within 64 inches, and there's only 1 in all of the other separate data values. So we can easily tell that 64 is our mode in this case. It's another great little resource for you to use. So that kind of covers everything up there, but this is what I would like you to do for your exit slip, and be prepared to use it for tomorrow's class. What I would like you to do, as I kind of explained before, mean is the most basic form of probability there is. Now what I want you to do is think of a time when the odds were stacked either for or against you. And I want you to write about this situation and tell me what happened, how it panned out, how probability kind of connects to your everyday life. Just some examples could be sporting events that you may have participated in, illnesses, or any other kind of personal struggle that you may have. Work to complete this at the end of class, but if you don't finish it, you can take it home and finish it up tonight, and then just bring it back tomorrow and be prepared to discuss. So you can work on that till the end of class, and when you're done, you can hand it to me at the door and you're good to go.